I did want to circle back to leverage and just like understanding where you're at in certain situations, and we have a real life example right now with the whole Ben Simmons situation. And we're not a sports pod, so we're not gonna stick on this. But we talked about Ben Simmons a few episodes ago, as we were in the summer in the heat of the playoffs, and he failed to show up for the team. And so what's happening right now is Ben Simmons, he's a point guard for the Philadelphia 76ers. I can't believe training camp is next week for basketball. That came so quickly.
Yeah. I kind of like it, though.
Yeah, I love it. I'm not complaining.
COVID fucked that whole thing up.
Yeah, and I kind of wish they would stay on the schedule they had before, because summertime hoops was hype.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, definitely.
But Ben Simmons, he told his agent and he told the Philadelphia 76ers, yo, I'm never going to put on a 76ers jersey ever again. He felt disrespected. He felt like they handled this whole situation wrong. And I can see both sides, because his name has been in trade rumors for at least the last year, with the whole James Harden situation last year Dame Lillard too, and him not showing up in the playoffs because he didn't. Coach kind of threw him under the bus. His fellow star player teammate threw him under the bus. So I can understand him not wanting to go back.
Even the coach, really.
Yeah.
Did you say coach?
Yeah, the coach threw him under the bus.
Yeah.
Doc Rivers.
Yeah.
I think the reporter asked him, "Hey, do you think you can win a championship with Ben Simmons as the point guard?" And he said something like, "Oh, I don't know. We're reevaluating that right now."
I think he asked him, "Is he going to be your point guard going forward?" And he said he wasn't sure.
Yeah, which is like, I get why Ben Simmons is pissed. And then Joel Embiid said something about the famous play where he could have went up for a layup or a dunk and he chose to pass it. He's like, he pointed that play out specifically and said that's when the momentum shifted.
Yeah, I mean, if you break this down to just like a sense of what's, just on the merits of what has happened. This is meritocracy. So you have Ben, who didn't perform to what he should have. Mm-hmm. He's in with a 4-year, very expensive contract. I don't even know the numbers.
Well, he's getting, if he were to play out the rest of the contract for the next 4 years, he would be getting $33 million a season.
Okay, so it's a max contract for 4 years. Mm-hmm. Okay, so that's one of the best contracts you can get in sports, really. But talking about the sport, basketball, that's one of the best you can get. So there's that, on top of the fact that he didn't show up, and then there's this riff on the other side that says, "Well, you didn't show up. How is that our fault? Like, we need to win, right?" So, and
allegedly you haven't been working on your game,
and right, and apparently you won't work on what you should work on.
Yeah,
and now there's this, honestly, energy that he's kind of bringing on himself from the outside looking in, because you didn't show up, and now you're refusing to acknowledge the work you need to do to mend that, right? You can be mad about who said what, that's kind of like coming at you, but on the other end, like, that's out of your control, in my opinion. Like, that's not something you have power over. So it's like, why would you allow that to even I guess it's not even why, it's you really can't if you want to continue to work on your talent, your game, and prove your worth. You can't focus on that. You gotta show up, right? That's really what it comes down to. It's not like this is meritless, what they're saying.
Yeah, no, I can see both sides. Yeah. Like, from the 76ers standpoint, it's, you haven't been working on your game. This is why your name is in trade rumors. This is why we're thinking about going in a different direction.
Yeah.
And you're currently playing the victim card, because let's not act like we didn't just give you a max deal. Like, we want you to be here, but you're not working on your game. And then on the flip side of Ben Simmons, it's like, I just signed this max deal. You guys are saying I'm the problem, when it's we can say that behind closed doors, but to air that out publicly,
right, which they shouldn't have done. Don't get me wrong.
Why would I want to come back into this situation with you guys?
And don't get me wrong, they shouldn't have done that. But what they said wasn't that bad. It wasn't like this dude is trash or anything really too much into his character.
Well, when your coach says, "I don't know if he's going to be the point guard for us to win,"
He shouldn't have said that.
Yeah.
But if he didn't show up when he needed to, is what he said wrong? Is really what it comes down to.
I think,
like on a fact basis.
I think on a fact base, no.
Right.
But like in trying to keep the team together, trying to like mentally keep everybody moving in the right direction, that was the worst thing that you could have said.
Yeah, for sure. I guess what I'm saying is I don't think that it's how should I put this, breakup worthy of like if I heard like what Doc said, I don't think it's like it was so bad that you gotta like Ben has to move on.
Well,
it wasn't great, but I just think you can get through that, in my opinion.
I just think you gotta consider the person here, like.
Oh, of course.
These guys, like, not even him, these guys in the NBA,
like,
ego is different.
But, well, specifically
ego is
him.
super different over there.
Specifically,
and you're going to say, I'm the problem? Well, I'm going to be a problem for you playing for another team, and I will be damn sure that you guys don't win the championship because I'm going to be playing against you. Yeah. Like, that's how they're wired. You know what I'm saying? I'm the problem? That's how I can totally see how he took that the wrong way. And then also his agent, Rich Paul, makes a living off of this, of getting players out of disgruntled situations.
Yeah.
So, but I'm kind of calling his bluff. There's no way he's going to sit out the whole season. Because he's going to say no to $33 million if he does that.
Well, think about how much he's already made.
Dude.
And we're talking about egos, man. Like, you just said it yourself. How big are these dudes' egos?
Yeah, but your ego is that big to leave $33 million on the table?
If your ego is big enough where you lost a game because it's a playoff game, a playoff series, because it's completely your fault, and your coach says, like, yo, I don't know if he's going to be the point guard. After that, after something that's clearly your fault, something that, and not only, you gotta put it in context too. Supposedly, and this is also based on what we're hearing, he doesn't want to work on what he needs to work on to improve himself. So if you're a person that, one, like, you can say that alone by just basing that on ego itself. If someone's ego is to the point where they're not going to work on what they need to work on to better themselves in their specific craft because they just don't feel like it, honestly, you have to have a big ego to even do that. So then you take it to the next level where you lose the series because of you, and then your coach says, look, I don't know if he's going to be the point guard. And then what he's really saying is he won't work on what he wants to work on or what he needs to work on. And this was his fault. Honestly, when it comes, then you bring up the money situation. No, it doesn't surprise me. It really, really doesn't.
Get paid, bro. Like,
I'm agreeing with you.
He's going about this.
I agree with that.
He's going about this a completely wrong way. Like, to me, this is what you would do. You go to training camp.
Yeah.
And you go to training camp out of shape. You go to training camp talking shit. Every single time they ask you questions, I don't want to be here. And you just become a cancer. And then you force them to trade you that way while you get paid. That's how I would do it. There's no way I'm sitting at home and getting fined and not getting paid.
Oh, okay. Like, I see what you're saying.
It makes no sense. To me, he's going to be, I don't know if he's going to be in camp, but he's going to try and get in the building at some point because that don't make no sense. We saw James Harden do it last year.
Right.
He came in there. James Harden could put up 30 a game. He came in there dropping 15, throwing shit out of bounds, doing whatever. And then if he didn't get hurt, was in the MVP discussion.
Yeah. 1,000%.
I don't know what Ben Simmons is doing. That's how you use your leverage correctly.
Yeah.
Okay, y'all want me here? I'm here. I'm not doing nothing for y'all, but I'm here.
Yeah. And you know what it is too, man? The situations are different too because James he gave Houston a lot, man. Like, he really, and he was not the reason they didn't win ever. He was never the reason.
Well, he shrunk in the playoffs too.
Actually, I would say that. Never mind, I take that back. But the previous season, I would say it wasn't his fault. That season. What was it? Was that the Chris Paul season? No. The year after that.
There was a few seasons he choked. But,
Yeah.
But
I'll agree with that.
But that's the thing, though. Like, to me, they're more the same than they are different, because, like, I know it's cool to hate on Ben Simmons right now, but if you look on it at his resume, it's Rookie of the Year, 3-time All-Star, 2-time first team defensive All-NBA, was damn near the Defensive Player of the Year last year. Like, he's not a scrub.
Yeah,
he just don't perform in the playoffs. Just like James Harden's reputation is, he don't perform in the playoffs. So it's
That's
like,
true.
I think it's a little unfair to say, like, he sucks, because he does, like.
No, I'm not saying he sucks. I'm
not saying you're saying that.
Yeah.
I just think people are like saying, oh, like, it's cool to hate on him. I'm like, fam, he's like actually really fucking good. He just can't shoot. Like, look at Giannis.
Yeah, I guess I would say that James Harden is better than Ben Simmons, and I would say James Harden also didn't have a guy like Joel Embiid, who was also a perennial all-star, possible and every year an MVP candidate pretty much. So he's never had that, where Ben has had that, and he won't do what he needs to do to improve what he needs to improve. And I'm not trying to hate on him. He's not a scrub. To me, Ben Simmons is a leveled up Draymond Green. That's what he is to me.
Yeah.
And
with the ceiling of LeBron James, to me, if he were to develop a jumper.
Right, and we haven't seen it, so I think we're far away from that. With this, but you're right. I agree. His ceiling is that. His ceiling's for sure that. And I guess it just, I don't know, man. I just think that, like, he's in a situation that look, the grass is always greener. If you decide you want to go somewhere else because of these petty little things, in my opinion, they're petty. Like, just like feelings, and like, bro.
I don't know, man. I think when the coach says you're the problem and the other star player's like, yo, we lost the game because you fucked up. Like,
but did he fuck up?
You usually don't see that, though.
But
like,
did he fuck up?
No, he fucked up. But I'm saying, like, you don't see LeBron saying, oh, I passed it to Ray Allen and he missed a damn shot. Or you know,
it wasn't like that.
No, but that's kind of how it was. He was like, well, he didn't dunk it, and that's the whole momentum. All the air got sucked out of the building, and then we started losing. Like, you don't really see players like point at the other dude and be like, yo. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's something you just don't do, and that's not a basketball thing. That's a football thing too. Like, quarterbacks get pissed if they're in the pocket and the wide receiver is wide open and he's waving and jumping up and down.
All right, so put it this way.
It's like, bro, don't show me up like that. Like, my bad, I didn't see you, but quit with that. You know what I'm saying? Like, they don't like getting shown up. So
I hear what you're saying. You're right. They didn't handle that right.
No,
they
broke a lot of codes with that.
They broke a lot of codes. So let's put it this way though. Let's say you and I are a sales team. Okay, we're doing a pitch, and we're going into somebody's office. We're trying to get a new account. We go in there, and let's say I fuck up. Let's say it's me. And
Okay.
let's say we do that for years. And I'm constantly fucking up. And then you're like, and like your head leader, our team leader comes to me and says, yo, you gotta fix that. You gotta, like, when at the end of the pitch, you're not catering to the client. You gotta stroke their ego at the end of the pitch. Mm-hmm. You're not doing that. Mm-hmm. And I say to you, and I'm like, well, I don't really want to work on that. And we keep losing because I don't want to work on that. Mm-hmm. And then we get to like year 4. You are taking a hit, man. You're trying to get new accounts. You're trying to make more money. You want to get this ring. You want to get this sales bonus, right?
Yep.
And the at the end of the day, a bunch of cameras are pointed at you. Like, let's call it the shareholder. Let's say there's a shareholder meeting. Say like, yo, why do you keep missing on these big accounts? And you say, look, I don't know. We were trying to work on. I'm not saying can't work with this guy, but I don't think I can continue to work with him. Would you really blame you for that?
Well, to me that's a little different because that's still internal. If I'm talking to our shareholders, but if I'm airing you out in front of a customer, that's different. Like if you screw up,
that's a bad code
because it makes our company look like shit.
That's facts. That is facts. That's facts. I guess. Yeah, if you're in the middle of another meeting.
And I'm like, damn, Brian, what the like you did it again or something like that? Yeah. In front of the customer? That's different.
Well, let's say the meeting's over. Let's say it's not the other. Let's say it's like you are with a peer. Like let's say the meeting's over and like you're looking at someone else who's saying like, yo, I thought you were good at sales. Like, why aren't you good at sales? And like you're just like, fed up, and you say, man, like honestly, it's been years with this guy. They won't get rid of him, and he won't work on what he needs to work on. Like
Yeah.
I mean that's like they're criticizing you specifically, right? Like because it's been
And I think that's fair.
because now your reputation is on the line,
Right.
Like it's not because Joel Embiid now is his identity as his whole entire career and passion is being defined by the help of this other guy, and it's like, man, like I guess I'm not saying they didn't break codes, they definitely did, and the other thing that like goes through my mind is what was said behind the scenes. Like what happened after that game? Were they like, did Doc say, yo, you need to shoot that? And we'll never know. And Ben says like, nah, I didn't feel like it. Or, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
like,
so because
we
like
don't know what
that's the
happened
thing.
there,
I don't
too.
know the dynamics after a game. Like
Yeah.
I don't know like if you go to say we just played a game, win or loss, whatever, and the media comes. I don't know if things are reported to you after you leave the building. I don't know how we got that information because there's a couple like if he was there at that press conference when Doc was saying that, Doc probably wouldn't have said that because Ben Simmons is standing right there. You know what I'm saying? If Ben Simmons went home or he was in the locker room, he probably saw a clip or something on SportsCenter and him like, oh shit, he's talking about me publicly.
Yeah.
Bad.
Yeah.
That hits a little different.
You're right. I mean, his and what this really comes down to is I think the behind the scenes situations that we don't know. I think if there was like, yo, you if he's saying, coach, like I'm trying to work on this and I can't seem to get it or something like that, and then you air him out like that, I mean that's different. But if the reports are coach is saying, hey, we need to get you in the gym, we need to work on this, and he's saying I don't want to. Like, and that's just the reports. I'm not saying that's fact or anything.
No, for sure.
Those are just the reports. And if that's the situation, man, then I can't blame them.
Well, be that as it may, that's still code breaking.
It's code breaking, but I can't be like, I guess I can blame them, but I can't hold them too much to the fire for it. If you're on a team and you won't do what you need to do to improve the team, if like we're specifically sitting down and saying, hey, we need you to do this. Like if I hire someone and I say, yo, I need you to do this, and they tell me no, and the company fails because they tell me no, they don't want to, specifically on that circumstance, they're not working on what they specifically need to work on. It's hard for me to co-sign that, man. It's co-sign or be on their side for anything.
I think it goes a step deeper though, because if I'm the owner, I'm pissed because I hired Doc Rivers to do a job and do it professionally.
Yeah.
And if you're airing out a player that I just gave $160 million, and he wants to leave and has 4 years left because you fucking said that shit.
Yeah,
I'm pissed.
Yeah,
because they clearly want him there. I think it was like a caught up in the moment situation. Couldn't believe Penn did this again. Blah blah blah, and then emotions just came out. But as a coach who's coached the NBA Finals team in 2008 and has been coaching ever since, you got to know better than that, man. You got to know better than that. I understand that Ben Simmons hasn't worked on his game and he seems a little bit immature with how he's handled situations. Like I said before, like I think he's really playing the victim card here. But at the same time, you can't do that. You just can't do that. Like you know better. You know better than to do that.
And even just to go even further on your point, you're right. They hired Doc Rivers to connect with this player, to get him to
fix them, because the issue was like, hey, should we blow it up? Should we trade one of them? Because and Doc got hired to be like, yo, we have 2 perennial all-stars. I can make it happen. And for him to say that, come on, man, you gotta do better than that.
Yeah, and this isn't like so the side is like I do partly agree with that. They hired Doc Rivers to make sure that he works on what he needs to work on, connect with him on a real player coach level, and get him in the gym and say, yo, like we need you to do this. And sometimes you do gotta cater to people's egos. You gotta like really, though this person's sensitive, let me make sure that like I connect with them and am sensitive to that, right? But the other side to that is Ben Simmons a grown man. Like Ben Simmons is a grown man. Like if you, I get that we have to do this for the good of the company, but I think there's both sides that are like, yo, that are clearly in the wrong, in my opinion.
Yeah, me too. Both of them are.
Yeah. And it's like, so it's like, so this is where it comes kind of like goes to our next topic, is just the generation of players, right?
Yeah.
You know,
players and coaches.
Players, coaches, and styles and generations connecting and conflicting. So Ben Simmons here, this will be his fifth year?
Something like that.
So it's his fifth year. You know, I mean, that makes him what, 25?
24.
24? Okay, so he's getting up there to be a grown, you know, starting to be act like an adult. And situations have happened that you have to own. Like, at some point in our lives, we all got to own our life and say, like, what are your flaws? You got to look and reflect and say, look, is this something I am having shortcomings on? And it's like, if someone's telling you that, you got to own some of it at some point. And it's like, at what point do we have to stop catering to your ego and tell you what it is? And
that's a good point. That's a good point, because it might have been an emotional moment for Doc and he just said it, but that also could have been like, maybe this is how I can get through to him, because we talked about a few pods, like this AAU generation, like they've been dope their whole lives.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So like Ben Simmons is of the ilk of, dude, I've been playing basketball like this my whole life and it's got me here. Like, why would I
1,000%.
Why would I change because you guys said change? Like,
right.
I have all these accolades. I've done X, Y, and Z, and like we were the number 1 seed in the Eastern Conference. Like, like that, like his resume. That's why the situation is so sticky, because his resume is top tier in the NBA. Like,
100%.
You can't even like go against it.